Well, it seems that before I were to get started today, I have my little friend Sheldon here. Hello, Sheldon. Okay, Mr. Sheldon. We'll give you a nice belly rub. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. So, today, after we finish with Mr. Sheldon here, yes, hello, Sheldon. What we're going to do is look over a disc that I had made years and years ago when I was the librarian for TPUG. This is when, oh golly, when TPUG was on Avenue Road, 1912A Avenue Road. Isn't that right, Mr. Sheldon? And this was the first utility disc I made. And funny story, many years later, I was sitting in my computer store in Florida, and this fellow, who was fairly new to the Commodore 64, came in, and he had this disc, and he didn't know what to do with it, and he was all curious. And so I said, well, let's have a look, because he was still, you know, he was trying to learn and all. And anyway, loaded up the directory and all, and there it was. It was a disc that I had made. And I said, yes, I am familiar with this disc. And we started from there. Okay, Mr. Sheldon. Mr. Sheldon. Okay. Mr. Sheldon, yes, I know. Big, okay, we knocked over the iPod. Okay. Okay, no, Sheldon. Nice kitty. Okay, yes, I know. But I gotta get working here. Yes, I do. So here you go. Go find Penny. Go find Penny. So, oh, I hear a cat. Okay, come on up here. I was going to start on the disc here. The iPod Touch has fallen. Okay, Sheldon, yes, I got to get the... There we go. So we will stop recording on that. We will set it up again. Sheldon, that's my arm you're knocking. Alright, so we will take the iPod Touch. We will once again set it up on the joystick. Sorry. Sheldon, touch my arm, please. No. You're going to knock things down again. Okay, you just sit back there. Thank you, Sheldon. Sit back there. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to load quote, $ quote, comma 8 and load the directory. No, Sheldon. Sheldon, thank you. Sheldon, thank you. I know. Just a moment, put that back. And then we will list, and of course, it will go by quite quickly. There are lots of things on here, some of which I have used, some of which I have not. But long ago, I would have tested them all to make sure they're all good. So on a lot of TPUG discs way back when, the first thing there was a list me file. And we worked very hard on making the list me files helpful. So that if you had something you weren't sure about, or you wanted to know what something did, that there would be some sort of clue in there, and typically in the order of the directory. The best thing with the list me file if you come across a disc like this, is to print it, because it is not formatted for a 40 column screen, or if you're on a 128, load it in and look at it on the screen, it'll look better. So what I think I want to do, we'll load the list me file for a second. And of course I'm not going to type all that in, I'm going to do list asterisk comma 8. Oops. Now, beware. I shifted for the asterisk. I did not need to. There it is. So it is going to load. Now the list me file on this disk is quite extensive. It is 43 blocks in length. Many, many hours went into that. Let me just check how we're doing here. Could be. Oh, I don't want to touch it. Okay. So the list me file has loaded, and we'll go slowly. Now, and the list me file is made up of remark statements. So it really doesn't do anything, except if you do type in run, there is a command that tells it to list, so it will list for you. So, there's the list me file. Now, there are many things here. And it is kind of hard to read like this, but you know what I want to try and do is, I'll just let that go through. I'm going to make sure I have a blank disk here, which I do. This disk I use many times, because I'm going to load the directory again. And remember, if you load the directory, whatever you have in memory is gone. Gone. So don't load the directory and think your program's going to be there. Because what I want to do is I want to load the 1541 backup. And you see what I did? I didn't want to type all that in. And to make sure I get it exactly right, I move up, I type load, I move across, I put in comma 8, I put in a colon, otherwise it'll think there's something that PRG thing wants to do. And there isn't. And then it will load. Now, it's funny, there are, sometimes there are even things I don't remember about what it was. I was looking at this before, and when I run it, it will clear the screen, and it'll come up with these options, backup command. And there are different ways of doing a backup of a disk, and I'm going to pick B. Maybe I'll pick A. What does A say? No, it does not work. B. BAM, select backup. Destination. I'll say backup. Now, one thing I'm going to do, I'm going to take this disk out of here in case it suddenly jumps into action, which I'm sure it isn't going to. But I'm going to see. Okay. Enter disk ID. Oh yes, disk ID. Well, we'll say that's BK for backup. Insert destination disk into the drive. Oh yes, this is, I seem to remember, it's very friendly about making sure we don't do bad things. So now it is formatting the destination disk. And I'm just going to have a look in here. Well, we seem to be missing just a widow-wee bit of the top of the screen. I'm going to be ever so gentle and careful. Still doesn't look quite bang on. But anyway, so it is now formatting. Now, remember, this is what life was like when we had a Commodore 64, a monitor, and one disk drive. which is what most people had because these things were not cheap. So in order to back up a disk, you couldn't just pop, like with the old PET days when you had the dual drive, you couldn't just pop it in and say backup D0 to D1. It took a little more time and effort. So it is formatting the disk, and we are waiting to respond to our next operator intervention. Of which it should be coming soon. We want to insert, okay, and the disk status is okay. See, it gives us a little error, not error things, or lack of error things. So we take the source disk. Now it doesn't tell us what to do, but I'm going to hit return. And it is now reading the BAM from the source disk, which is the block allocation map. Aha, verify source disk for backup. Okay. So, it is now reading stuff from the disk into the buffer. Now, of course, the disk holds about 170K, the computer not so much. So there will be a little disk swapping involved here. But sometimes, oh, it seems to be going along quite well. Nothing wrong with swapping from time to time. But this is what we had to do. This is much more, as slow and as painful as this seems. Can you imagine when we just worked on cassette tapes? Basically, with a cassette tape, what I would do is if I was writing something that was important, I would write it, I would save it onto a tape, I would let it do its thing, and then I would get another tape, and I would save it again. Maybe even 3 times. So, the buffer is going along, and let's see. Oh no, I think I might hear Sheldon in the distance. I am not sure. I am not sure. So as you see, this is, oh, it is still reading data into buffer. So I thought that maybe it would do a little bit, and so, but anyway, it seems that the buffer, however big it is, oh, the buffer is changing colors. So this program was written by someone named Michael Schaff. I might have met him, I don't know, I don't remember. He might have worked at Commodore, he might not have. But this program, for us, way, way back when, was mighty handy. Okay, I think soon the buffer is going to be full. It is full. So we will do as instructed, and we will insert the destination disk. And we will hit enter, or sorry, return. And what is the difference between enter and return? Different machines, different companies. Oh, look, the buffer is emptying. Isn't that magical?
You don't know the power of the dark side.
So true. So, in the midst of this, I know I showed you this before. It's the Commodore Sound Expander. Which I have never used. Sorry, it's the SFX FM Sound Module. But I am going to, at some point, explore and check it out. I don't know if I have all the instructions for it. But it does have a place for another cartridge in the top. I don't even know if I have everything I need to make it work. But I will find out. And also, while we're here, look. One of the bestest games ever for the VIC-20 Omega Race. you needed a Big 20, you needed a monitor or a TV, and you needed paddles, not a joystick. So as you can see, this backup program, or process, facilitated by this program is slow. We have put our destination disk in. It is almost finished. It's going to ask for the original disk, which we will put in. And then the buffer is going to fill up again. Operator intervention. Insert source disk into drive. Right. Source disk. And I'm going to press the spacebar. Spacebar works too. Maybe it should say press any key. Of course, as many new users will say, where is the any key? So it is now filling the buffer again. It is. So let's see, anything changed back here? I did put another picture, drawing of me here, but then I looked at the frame, I didn't like it. These two fellows here, I'm afraid to move the picture. Anyway, that's my brother and I. We were part of a project about twins. And it can be seen on the internet. Although it has shown in art galleries around the world. We were one of 8 pieces in this project. If you were to go onto your fine non-Commodore computer and Google Factum Bradley, F-A-C-T-U-M-B-R-A-D-L-E-Y, you will see us. And it is not just a picture, it is, let me think, perhaps an hour and 17 minutes long. And it is very insightful into the world of twins, and whether it's nurture or nature, and well, I could say more, but there's so much, and there are many others. There, as I said, there are 7 others, and one of them, one of the other 7 is triplets. So if you just search for Factum, F-A-C-T-U-M, you will probably find somewhere something of all of them. I think they're on Vimeo, or maybe you'll see them in your local art gallery. So, the buffer is almost full. So we, as the operator, are going to do an intervention. So we take the destination disk, and we put it in the drive, and the buffer will start to empty. Yes, as was the case way back when, copying a disc left you with much time to ponder. Because, well, you only have one drive, there's only so much memory in the machine, and the serial bus on the Commodore 64 is notoriously slow. That's why people came up with things like fast load. It's funny, I have not tried. I happen to have, although I don't really. Sorry. I do not use fast load. Yet here I have this sort of banged up version. I am wondering, maybe I should try this sometime. I wonder if this copy process would work faster with fast load. Interesting. Perhaps I will try that. Not right now. So we are now almost ready to switch the discs, but not quite. let's see what else we have here hanging around. We have, oh yes, this is the little X-Acto knife that I use to very carefully take some of the original logo plates off. Oh, wait, it's time for operator intervention. We must take out the destination disk and put the source disk into the drive. And now the buffer will fill. Excuse me, one moment. Speaking of a cassette tape, look here is a cassette tape. This is what we used. This is what I started on when I was at school, Northern Secondary School. When I first saw a PET, this is what we had. There were no disk drives. You would do what you had to do. You would save it to the tape and have faith that it would be there. Although, I must say, the Commodore system, by the way, this is, although this is blank, this did come, this is an old TPUG tape from when we were on Avenue Road. Anyway, my friend, and I call him my friend hesitantly because he was always, he always walked to his own beat and his own drummer. He bought a TRS-80 when they first came out, even though I had said, don't do it, the PET is better, the PET is better, the PET is better. So the one nice thing about the PET cassette deck is there were no adjustments. There did not need to be. It was all set. It was all just in. You plug it in. Actually, I think I have one here. Aha. I do. Oh dear. I think it might be time for an operator intervention. Yes. We will insert the destination disk. So here we have one of the original Commodore tape decks. It has a plug. It goes into the cassette port, which is kind of a universal thing that was on the PET, the 64, the 128, not the SX64, the VIC-20. They all had this plug. They didn't change the plug. Maybe they did for the Commodore 16 and the Plus 4. Because remember, there was a different tape drive. But anyway, on most machines, even, yes, the Porsche style case machines, they had the same. So anyway, as you note, there are no volume controls, which is key to the TRS-80 story that I was telling, because we would go over, and this fellow had a pool table, so we would play pool. And way back when, there weren't many programs around. There wasn't much to do, so people would get magazines and type in programs from the magazines or books. So whoever lost at pool would type, and until somebody else lost, and then they would come type, and then we would save. But with the TRS-80, the tape deck had volume controls. And if it wasn't just set just right, the program would not save properly. and it would be lost, forever lost. So it was kind of a pain. Anyway, eventually we did tinker around and experiment, and we made sure it was set right, and, you know, he put a little sticky thing on it. Oh, what do we got? Oh, operator intervention. Back to the source disk. So he would take and make sure he had a little note close by as to exactly where the volume should be. And then we didn't have troubles with that. And then eventually he decided that he'd had enough of the TRS-80, otherwise known as Trash 80. And I said, great, what a great time to get a Commodore 64. So of course he bought an Apple II. And once again, there we were, typing in programs into his Apple II. Although it did have disk drives, and so we were not back to the tape drive era. We played a lot of pool. Which of course is probably why I'm standing in front of my pool table, which I have not played on for many years because, well, going back to my first video, I have too much stuff, and I'm trying to get it organized. But also, some of it I will pass on to other people, such as the Computer Museum, run by Sid Bolton in Brantford, Ontario. Anyway, I have much to go through, much to sort through, much to tinker with, many 1541s with dirty heads to clean. But I tell you, someday, I'm going to get that Pac-Man disc to work. If you don't know what I'm talking about, oh, we're getting there. There was a disc from, I don't remember the company now, but it had Pac-Man on it. I played it once. I didn't get to play it while I was all set up to do, but I played. Ever since then, every time I run it or try to load, it makes the drive heads dirty, no matter what I do. So, I'm going to try and clean the disc. And oh, we're almost there. We're almost there. Insert destination disk into drive. So what am I going to do to clean it? Well, I'm going to slice the disc, not the disc, the sleeve, ever so carefully. I'm going to extract the disc, and then I'm going to wash it, ever so gently. Probably, much like I do with the tops of keys, I will probably very carefully give it a bath in gently warm water with a little dish soap, just a little. And then I'll probably let it soak a bit. And then I'll make sure I get all the soap off. And I'll rinse, and I'll rinse, and I'll rinse, and I'll rinse. And then I will see, depending on how badly I hurt the sleeve, which I'm hoping will not be. See, these things, they are secured in the back in many places. I'm thinking what I might do is take my, wait for it, X-Acto knife, and slice open the disc to get it out, and then I may be able to use the same sleeve to put it back. I might. I will see. I am hoping that this is the last pass, but I am not so sure. So, as you see, it was a slow, torturous process to copy a disc. But, compared to a tape drive, this was lightning speed. It was. So, we are almost time for an operator intervention. Almost. Time. I'm ready. Now, it could be finished. I don't know. Let's see what it says. It says, insert source disk. So we are not finished. So it is reading. It is reading. So yes, anyway, tapes were slow, these disk drives were much faster, and quite reliable. And this program was mighty helpful. I mean, oh wait. Oh, I thought we were done. Anyway, I mean, you could do the same sort of thing as what I described with the tape drive. You could load a program in and save it onto another disk, which was all fine and dandy. But then if there were other files like sequential files or data files or whatever, that was a whole other thing. So really, this program, as slow as it is, but remember, it's not the program's fault. There's only so much data that can go between the computer and the disk drive at a time. So this really was a great thing. And you know, back then, it didn't seem like that much time, because compared to what we've been using, it was fast. Lightning fast. It was. I've lost track of how many times we put the disk in. I think maybe this is the fourth. Maybe. Maybe. And it is still reading. It is. So, let's see. If I had have thought that you know what, I actually forgot this was going to take this long. Oh, look. Here is the nameplate from a Commodore 128. Anyway, if I thought this was going to take quite this long, I kind of forgot. And here is the nameplate from a Commodore 64. I would have oh, wait. It is time for an intervention. And after all this time, I think we could all use a little intervention. And in it goes. Writing data from buffer. And the buffer is going down. 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 If you bear with me for a moment, I think I have time. I could cut that disk open right now. It's just out of sight here. Actually, I have to go all the way around the pool table, because the last time I threw it away, it landed on a chair. Well, there it has sat. So, I did think I might take scissors and sort of just snip off the end, but I think this is better. I just have to look and see where better. I think I'm going to go for the side. Right here, I can get the knife just under there ever so gently. Now, of course, I warn you, don't try this at home. I'm not even sure I should be doing this. So, I'm going to take the knife, stick it in the side of the disc, and try, well, I've got a little bit cut, maybe, if I just leave it in there, I can I'm being very careful not to touch the disc, of course. I can very carefully, it's not exactly going straight, but it is getting there. Okay, we're just down to okay, I've got to start from the other side. We're just down to the where are we? Executing. Insert source disk. Obviously, we are not finished. I've lost track of how many passes. Maybe this is the fifth. Anyway, if I had to do this again, maybe I would have cut on the side that didn't have the right protecting. But mind you, you know how many times I've done this ever? Never. I've I've never had a disc like this. Do not put the knife pointing towards yourself. Do not snipe. Okay. Okay, I have made the first little cut here. Okay, I think I have cut it all the way down. So now, if that is the case, wait, it is time to insert the destination disc. This means, looking at the buffer, that this is the last pass. Alright, back to Pac-Man, made by Thunder Mountain. I had, okay, here is the disc. And I don't know if you can see this, but this side, which is actually the business side or the back side of the disc, I'll try and hit it with a light a little, there are obvious signs of wear. Wait. We are being told to remove the destination disc from the drive. It is done! But is it done? Alright. I'm going to turn this off. And turn it back on. And then I am going to, yes, load, quote, $, quote, comma, 8. It is loading. And now I will list. And we will find that, yes, indeed, we have, and see the top, it says backup, and the ID is BK, and it looks like everything is there. It does. And 47 blocks free. Cool. Just for fun. Not that we're going to run it again. Let's load the backup program. I think that's what it was called. Oh, found my pen. It was not called that. It was called, 1541 backup. Load. 1541. And it seems to be loading. And we will run. And the screen changes color. And we could do it all again. But we're not going to. You know what we're going to do now? Is I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to turn this on. We'll finish up as we started. We'll load the directory. It is finished. We'll list. This is the backup disk. Yes, it is. And what we're going to do is we're going to load list, comma 8, list asterisk, comma 8. Don't have to type the whole file name, which only runs into trouble if you have all the file names are the same. We're going to take our knife, very carefully put it back into our specially designed tool case, brought to us by Ziploc. So that is loading. And then, just to show you that this actually works, I'm going to type run. And then it will list. But that is not what we don't want to watch all that go down. I think maybe as with list, I'll just see 1541 backup. Let's see. Maybe we'll run the check disk program next. Maybe. Oh, there's also copy things in here. Yes. Anyway, maybe we will experiment with other things on here. Maybe we'll check the disk, then we'll do some other copying of files, because you could do files. Anyway, so, but for the moment, we'll just let that go by, and as we're just about done today, we're going to clear the screen, move over here with the cursor keys and say, that's where's the apostrophe? Ah, above the 7. That's all, folks. And then we're going to stop this recording ever so gently. It is not easy when it is so gingerly balanced. But we got it. So there, that is safe. And back to this disk. Now it's funny, all these lines and things, actually I see, it almost looks like the moon, or the rings of Saturn on this disk. And that's right, the other side, oh, well, they both have them. So I don't know if it's got hurt by a disk drive, or what it is, but you know what, I can also see there does appear to be some crud, like some discolorations and stuff. And I've heard that these discs can get like crud or mold or microscopic slime. So what I'm going to do now is, I thought I had a little bag around here, but I do not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this disc sleeve, I'm going to put this very carefully in here, and then, gee, and I wonder if I should reuse this, or not. Maybe the slime is within it. Well, as the experiments continue, we'll see. So, but anyway, I'm going to take this downstairs, I'm going to put it in a bag, put it in warm water with dish soap, shake it around some, not hot water, not hot, warm, and let it soak a bit, and then very carefully get rid of the soap and carry on. So, that's it for now. Until we meet again. Go Jays, go.